Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
In the argument for one of the greatest songs of all time, Green Day Basket Case with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 last night, Wrigley Field sold-out show. Just wonderful. I've said this, and we were sitting there talking to a lot of the listeners, and so happy to meet all the people we got in there for free. A lot of people got in there for free, and we appreciate you for just, hanging out and talking during the show. But, they could come out there and just play their songs and go home, and everybody would be pretty happy. But instead, they put on one of the most bombastic arena rock shows of a band that you might not associate with like arena rock. And that's what Green Day does. They deliver constantly, every time. And I know if you've seen them and you know they're good, but I got to tell you, after 6th or 7th time of seeing them, and even at the Metro the last time I saw them, which was historic, I'm still blown away with goosebumps at that show last night. Green Day, and of course, our guys, the Smashing Pumpkins, hometowners at Wrigley Field, was amazing. They sounded like this. Let's go. Case was recording this audio, and I ruined a lot of it by swearing during it. During the Pumpkin show, I was swearing a lot. I go,
what'd you swear about?
Because I was so happy.
Yeah, it was like frat bro energy. It was very odd. He was trying to like chest bump me during the entire time. He was screaming in my ear during zero. He was high-fiving our entire row during Cherub Rock like he was doing something.
Like I was going like Kenzie. I was going, they're playing zero. Let's effing go.
You have to hear this. I am trying.
The song's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds. You're ruining it. I really, as much as I do love Green Day during the Pumpkins, that I really swore a lot. I apologize for the people around me.
This week you only played 10 seconds.
I was very happy.
I'll tell you what. God, does he sound good? Doesn't Billy Corgan just sound the same always?
He does, and I got to just give a shout-out again to, of course, the whole band, and Kiki, the guitar player that beat me out. I came in second, according to Billy, when I tried out for the Pumpkins.
She was there.
She was outrageous. She is
really good?
so good.
Do you think you could have done that?
No. No. Not in that outfit she was wearing.
No. Tough one.
No. But Jimmy Chamberlain's drums just resonating through Wrigley and the whole area of Wrigleyville, because it was thunderous and so clear and concise. Just an amazing to see Billy so happy to play Wrigley Field. And there was a lot of hometown stuff going on. There's a video that they posted. I know we've reposted it on our page, on our Facebook and Instagram, of them walking out of one of the rooftop buildings to the stage. And you see Billy Corgan get out there and do that. Then Lars and James from Metallica also walk out of the same house. They finished their shows in Chicago Sunday at Soldier Field. So they stuck around a couple extra days for that show.
Oh, why not? It's a good show.
Very good show. And CM Punk got on stage when Rancid was on stage.
Wow.
Yeah, he
That's
came
cool.
out there. And there was a couple other wrestlers there that Billy brought out from his league.
Billy had some NWA wrestlers there.
Yeah.
He had a scantily clad woman, a wrestler, and his children on stage at the same time, and then the children attacked the wrestler, and then the scantily clad woman did a dance over the wrestler. It was really...
Was it by chance his wife?
No.
Okay. Just asking.
You would have thought it was his wife by the way she was
dancing on the children?
Kinda, yeah.
So I ran out to get a beer at that point. I came back and Megan said, "You really missed something." And didn't his kid kick the guy in the nuts?
He did. Yeah, the kids did. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So good. But there was one celebrity there that me and Case had a chance to invite on the show and hang out this morning with. It would have been incredible. And this happened 2 days ago. Okay, let's go back 2 days. And Kenzie's heard the beginning of this story. She didn't hear the end of it. So I gave Case a ride home, and I get up on Lakeshore Drive right by Navy Pier. And I look over, and I said, "Oh, my God." Case goes, "What?" I go, Look. That's Wee Man from Jackass."
Not Wee Man, the Pulitzer Prize winner, but Wee Man from Jackass.
Wee Man. And, of course, it was a little person walking toward the intersection. And Case goes, "I mean, that could be Wee Man." As we drive by, I go, "That's Wee Man." And I wanted to roll in the window and yell, "Hey, Wee Man." And I didn't.
Yeah.
Because
you were not confident enough it was Wee Man to yell that.
That's right. And listen, I don't know if anybody doesn't know this listening, but Wee Man's a little person. So I was afraid if I yelled Wee Man and it wasn't Wee Man, that's a terrible, terrible look.
It's like asking your friend in a wheelchair if they happen to know this other person you know in a wheelchair.
It's really an awful thing to do if you're not sure.
So I didn't do it. And I'm not an awful person then because I didn't do it.
The way I described it to Brian in the moment was it would be like if we saw an Indian guy and you were like, that's got to be Apu from The Simpsons. I go, no, I think it's just an Indian guy.
Yeah.
It turns out, though, it was Wee Man.
Well, we didn't find out. So Case instantly on the drive home kept looking at his Instagram. I go, look up Wee Man's Instagram, see if he's in Chicago. Nothing was there about Chicago, and nothing was there yesterday about Chicago until after the show. Go to Wee Man's Instagram. He says, the reason I came to Chicago to support Rancid, the best part was seeing my boy Lars Fredrickson. I can go home now. So he was here. It was Wee Man. I should have yelled, hey, Wee Man, and we could have had him on the show today.
And at this point, if you're listening and going, well, how does Brian know it was Wee Man? It was still just a little person on Lakeshore Drive. The thing is, it was Wee Man.
That's Wee Man. I was right.
So identifiably Wee Man in hindsight.
And he is hilarious. We've had him here at Q101 back in the day. He helped us host Jamboree, those shows back at Tinley Park. The Jackass guys are the nicest, amazing guys. Despite the chaos they cause. And damn, I'm so upset. I didn't yell, hey, Wee Man.
Well, I told you not to because you were like, I was going to yell. And you came to the studio and told me this. I go, you have to be at 100% certainty. And you were not.
99.9 doesn't work.
I was at 99.7. I really do.
I'm like, I wouldn't do it. It just could ruin someone's day. And you're going to think you're being an awful person.
Right. I'm sorry. I want to apologize to the listeners that I didn't yell, hey, Wee Man, because we could have had Wee Man on the show.
We could have Wee Man today.
Which is odd, because you almost had to apologize for yelling, hey, Wee Man, at somebody.
Well, this is the risk we take.
It was really a toss-up. It was a lose-lose.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Well, this is more disappointing news. Andy from North Chicago checked in and said he did bump into Wee Man at Wrigley Field last night for the Green Day Pumpkin Show. We just talked about how we missed him on the streets and then missed him at Wrigley Field. I'm not. Okay, Andy, I'm very happy for you.
Do you think that Andy from North Chicago got his number and could pass it along so we could book him while he's still here?
I said, I know you're down here by Wrigley Field, but you want to go to North Chicago and party after the show a little bit?
Period.
Mr. Wee Man? Mr. Man?
Mr. Wee?
Well, I'm glad you bumped into him. That's cool. We didn't. We'll try to get him on the show tomorrow.
We didn't.
Well, we could have. I just was too embarrassed to yell, hey, Wee Man, and I should have.
It was a good call.
I don't know if it was anymore.
When in doubt, don't do that.
No.
That's going to be what I'm going to tell you still.
Ugh. All right, so it's 8:24. You have about 5 minutes left to text FREAK to 312-591-8300, okay? You text that, you get a chance at corn tickets, and you'll qualify for the Q101 Golden Ticket. Everything we do for an entire year, from Riot Fest to Riot Fest, you will be in on. You're basically bigger than the staff here at Q101. You're going to be going to everything, and we love it when you post up on social, the Golden Ticket winner, kind of be our on-site reporter for 10s and 10s and 20s and 30s of shows. So, text FREAK to 312-591-8300 right now. That word expires at 8:29, and we'll have a new word for you coming up to qualify for Incubus tickets and the Golden Ticket. Also, head-to-headlines on the way where you decide the content of the show. That's coming up after Bad Omens. Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Now is your chance to qualify for the Golden Ticket. Please don't text and drive. Standard message and data rates apply.
Q101.
Well, here we go. The new word for the next hour is stellar. Stellar for the Incubus song Stellar, because that's the qualifying prize today at the Allstate Arena, Saturday, August 24th, so a couple weeks away, week and a half away. For that show, incredible show. We're going to talk to Incubus next week coming up here. So, 312-591-8300, text STELLAR, STELLAR. It qualifies you for the Q101 Golden Ticket. So everything Q101 does for an entire year, you will be a part of. You basically worked for us for having a blast and getting everything free. I mean, we're talking about thousands of dollars of tickets for free.
I mean, sometimes 2 concerts is $1,000 now, so easily. Where's your microphone?
Oh, no kidding. My mic just turned off.
There you go.
Trying to silence me. Text Stellar to 312-591-8300. It's a witch hunt.
It's the haters.
That's right.
It's me with a special button over here.
You installed a 3D printer last night?
Honestly,
turn off Brian's mic?
It could be Wee Man doing a jackass stunt, turning my mic off every time I try to talk.
That's true. I'd protect your nuts. I think if it starts with the microphone, it's only going to get worse.
I will say it's one of my badges of honor. I have been kicked and hit in the nuts by several of the members of Jackass.
For fun, or did you do something that upset them?
No, they surprised me with it when they were running
It was a
around.
gift?
Yeah. Like you get
Well,
ready.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Here's just a little lesson. When you get ready for a picture with anybody in the Jackass crew, make sure you're wearing some protection downtown.
What do they do when they take pictures with girls?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm afraid to find out.
Me too.
I'm sure they're very nice and gracious.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But guys, hitting people in the nuts is always funny.
It is. It's really funny.
Just watch America's Funniest Home Videos. That's all. That show's made a franchise out of it for 30 years.
Nut
God.
slaps.
All right, so that text is done. Now, it's time for more texting. Once you get through texting Stellar to 312-591-8300, we help you guys help us pick the show, what we decide to do next. It's called Head to Headlines. We do it every Wednesday right around this time. We give you 2 headlines, and based on the headline alone, you decide what story we dive into, and here are your headlines to choose from today. Remember, we will never talk about the other story again. Headline number 1. Influencers poop mask alarms doctors. Quote, people are getting too extreme on the internet. End quote.
Well, if that's not the understatement of this century, yeah, we know.
I'm glad he got involved. Influencers poop face mask alarms doctors. People are getting too extreme on the internet. That's headline number 1. If you want to hear more about that, text headline number 1 to 312-591-8300. Now, headline number 2, local story. Cook County woman gets 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings from school district.
Wow.
Oh, from the school?
From the school.
What was she, like a cafeteria lady?
I can't tell you anymore unless you choose headline number 2. Text in headline number 2 to 312-591-8300 to hear more about that story, and we'll dive into it and get the results after Alanis.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We will give that golden ticket keyword after we get done with Head to Headlines here. If you missed it at 8:30, I want to remind you one more thing, too. Tomorrow, all morning long and all day long, bottom of the hour, so right at this time tomorrow, the qualifying prize will be 21 Pilots tickets.
Wow.
So with the golden ticket qualifying all day, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 tomorrow morning, 21 Pilots tickets as your qualifying prize. And then Lauren and Brian Phillips will have them all day, too. So stay here for that all day tomorrow. Make sure you're here. And we'll give that word in about 3 minutes here. So stay here if you missed it. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're in the middle of Head to Headlines. You choose the content based on the headline alone. Headline number 1 was, influencers poop mask alarms doctors. Quote, people are getting too extreme on the internet.
Yep. Yeah, no. Thank you for catching up.
Yep, shocking. Very shocking. And headline number 2 was, Cook County woman gets 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings from school district. And headline number 2 won, I think, because headline number 1 kind of says it all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Someone was using a poop mask, and doctors said, that's dangerous and people are extreme on the internet. I think we know that part by now. So we'll never talk about that story again. Let's get into it because this is actually a follow-up story to a year ago.
That's right, because we've gotten some text saying, oh, you guys have talked about story number 2, headline number 2. No, we have not. There's updates on this story that you need to know.
We broke this story when it happened a year ago. There was then no resolution to what was the punishment or what happened. Now, I guarantee you stick around to the end of this story, you're not going to believe. So obviously she's going to jail. You know that part. I'm not giving away I'm burying the lead
It's in
here.
the headline.
Yeah, it's in the headline.
We got it.
But the people that knew she was doing this is going to be unbelievable, their response when she was arrested. So we'll have that at the end of the story. So first off, Cook County woman gets 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings from school district. I remember when we talked about this. We tried to calculate how many wings is $1.5 million of wings.
It's a lot.
I just get hungry thinking about that. But wait till the beginning of this story. A Dalton woman.
Oh, come on. Was it Tiffany?
It was not Tiffany Henyard, but I want to say maybe she was related with a different name somehow. A Dalton woman pleaded guilty to stealing more than $1.5 million of chicken wings from a South suburban school district. Now, it wasn't Dalton District. It was Harvey School District 152. Her name is Vera Liddell, 68 years old. This shows that if you want to do something in life, it's never too late.
That's right.
Yeah, it's an inspiring story.
Let this woman fuel your dreams today. Buy that plane ticket. Go on that trip. Live Moss, as I always say.
Or steal chicken wings. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison.
That does seem a bit aggressive.
I mean, listen, it's a felony, obviously, that amount of money and that amount of food. Also, there's murderers that seem to get out in 16 months sometimes.
But you know when you kind of forget the amount something is, because like, well, it's wings. It's like, well, it's over $1 million. I'm like, oh, it's wings though. It doesn't like count. If it was $1 million, it would be a big deal. The wings that add up to that. It's kind of like I didn't steal that.
Do you think if we had $1.5 million of wings, it would fill every square inch of the studio, like to the ceiling, to the floor?
I was just thinking this. I guess there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Brian.
Well, our big boss man Marv just walked in. He's the money man. So
He's loaded.
So listen, we got this idea.
Yeah.
We need $1.5 million of wings.
I think we just buy them and then submit the little write-off receipt, how we do for like our Ubers to Lollapalooza and stuff.
I think you should do that, Kenzie.
Is this something
You
our
do it
friends
first.
at James and Sons can help us with? Does James and Sons want to spend do they have wing money?
Oh, they have wing money.
Maybe they're in a plaza with a wing place that can do tradesies. Businesses do that next to each other.
Well, we'll work on this as we go along. Here's more of the story. So she was sentenced to 9 years in prison during a hearing on Friday. At the time of the crime, Liddell was working as the director of food services for Harvey School District 152. Between July 2020 and February 2022, prosecutors said Liddell placed hundreds of unauthorized orders for food items, including, this might help us with the size of the wing order, 11,000 cases of chicken wings.
Oh my God.
Oh, that sounds so good right now.
Think about how much 11,000 is.
I don't know what's in a case. I don't know how many are in a case, but 11,000 cases.
That's a lot. That's a lot of wing.
Now,
It would be 11,000 wings would be a lot.
Right.
11,000 cases.
I wonder if they're flats or drums.
Well, it's always a mixture. I hate when I worked at Famous Dave's and people would be like, can I have all flats or all drums? That's such a bitch because you have to open the bag and pull them out individually. Like, you don't have like drums and it's a mixture bag.
Oh.
And now like somebody else is going to get all paddles and they're going to be pissed about it.
I'm fine with both.
Do you call them flats?
Flats, I
Call
call
them
them.
paddles.
I like paddle. I've never heard that before, but I like that.
I haven't
Paddle and a
either.
drum, baby.
Oh, there you go.
There you
Well,
go.
you were in the industry, so it was an industry term.
Ask an expert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Famous Dave's. So she says it says the orders were placed to the school's main supplier, Gordon Food Service. The orders were placed separately from the district's legitimate orders. So,
Well, that makes sense.
but I mean, it seems that should have been the stop to it right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? We're going to finish this story up. We're up against it here, but again, wait till you hear what happened when the people that kind of, like right there, they knew what was going on, but their response when she was arrested. Also, keep texting Stellar to 312-591-8300 for your chance to win Incubus tickets at the Allstate Arena. And the golden ticket, you'll qualify. Remember, the text word is Stellar, Stellar. And when we come back, we're going to finish up this story in 6 minutes.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
All right, well, right smack dab in the middle of Head to Headlines with Brian and Kenzie on Q101, where you decide the content. This story had so much to dive into. We had to take a break on it, but you chose the headline. Cook County woman gets 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million in chicken wings from school district. We broke this story a year ago, and we're finally at the resolution where she got prison time. But wait to hear the end of the story. There's people that kind of knew what was going on and their statement. So, turned out this woman was from Dalton. And we got to the point. We got to the point where there was 11,000 cases of chicken wings ordered separately than the main stuff from the school that she was ordering.
Now, we've received a lot of texts from a lot of people in this industry who said the average case size is 40 pounds.
Whoa.
So, how much did you say? What was the number you gave out?
So 11,000
11,000 cases.
times
Times
40
is how many pounds of wings it would
That's
be.
440,000 pounds of wings.
She must have had the best Super Bowl parties ever.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic.
I'm sure. Now, you again, Kenzie, working for Famous Dave's and in the industry, how many wings are in 1 pound, you think?
Decent. I don't know. Let me Google that.
Case, did you get to just measure on a pallet of wings what that is, or?
So all I know is that pallets have about 40 to 50 pounds of wings, and there are about 220 pallets in a trailer. Holds 20 to 26 pallets. There's just so many wings I can't comprehend all of this.
Okay, here's the deal. In a pound, there is 10 to 12 pieces. So let's go on the light side. Let's say there's 10 pieces in a pound.
Okay.
That was
10 times 40, right?
Yes.
Is 400.
So that would be
times
400 wings.
11,000.
Yeah.
Equals 4.4 million wings.
And that's on the light side because it's 10 to 12.
So would 4.4 million wings fill this studio?
I think it'd have to.
I mean, where we can't walk in, like everything, the floor to ceiling. I don't know.
Probably.
We have a big studio.
But I would think probably it would fill that much. You're talking millions.
But even if everybody doesn't know the size of this room, think about your car. That amount of wings, that would fill your car no matter what you drive.
Easily.
Last year I had so many pumpkins in my car I couldn't even drive it home. I can't, and that was like 13.
Yeah, very much so.
Imagine that.
I mean, I've told you that my wing total record was just over 50 wings in one sitting. They were big wings too. And that plate took up the whole table of the bones. So that's a lot of wings.
That is a lot of wings.
All right, so we now know the number. 4.4 million wings, roughly, is what she stole. The prosecutor said this: the massive fraud began at the height of COVID.
Oh, that's when you can be super sneaky.
During a time when the students were not allowed to be physically present in school, so she was going to school and making orders. All the kids were remote.
Also, did they need lunches? Wasn't that even more suspicious?
That's kind of the rub. They should have caught this. The school district continued to provide meals for the students so their families could pick them up. So a lot of schools do that. Thankfully, some kids only eat that way through the school meals. So they kept doing it.
She only eats that way.
Apparently her whole neighborhood ate. So believing the orders were genuine, Gordon Food Services billed the Harvey School District $152, which ended up being $1.5 million. So they paid for everything thinking it was all genuine, according to court records. Liddell then would allegedly use one of the school district's cargo vans to pick up and transport the stolen wings.
Did they have a single camera at the entire school? Like one?
The food was never brought to the school or provided to the students. These separate orders. They got the other orders apparently, but not these separate 1.5 million. So a routine mid-year audit conducted by the district's business manager, probably should do it monthly at this point, not waiting for 6 months, showed the food service department had exceeded its annual budget by over $300,000, despite only being halfway through the school year. Prosecutors said Liddell was the only person responsible for placing the orders at the school. Upon further review, she discovered the individual invoices signed by Liddell for the massive quantities of chicken wings, now knowing it's 4.4 million wings.
She signed them with her own name, huh?
Yeah, didn't bother. The item that was, okay, so the massive quantities of chicken wings, an item that was never served to students because they contain bones.
Oh, that makes sense. That'd be a bad thing to give young children.
So why did the orders go through the school district process? I guess she's the only one that could stop that?
Yeah, she's making the order. She's the one controlling the cafeteria.
She should order something without bones.
Yeah, and instead she ordered 1 million chicken wings for her.
But
why didn't she just order some?
Why didn't she?
Why would you want that many? And then you may have gotten away with it on top of it.
Why didn't she order boneless wings?
That's true.
That way,
well, as we know, they could still have a bone in them.
Legally
as we've
speaking.
talked about previously.
That came from the Supreme Court ruling in Ohio. Boneless wing is a style. Doesn't mean there's guaranteed no bones. So the end of the story here, employees at the Gordon Food Service, where they ordered through all these wings, were well familiar with her. Quote, due to the massive amount of chicken wings she would purchase. And surveillance video, to your point, Kenzie, of the facility showed she would often arrive prior to the store opening up the pickup orders in the van from the school.
Down by the river.
Yeah. But this didn't raise a red flag for 2 years while $1.5 million or 4.4 million wings.
What did she do with it?
Well, it doesn't say in the story, but I remember the first time we talked about this, I believe she had block parties in her neighborhood and provided the food. I think just
she
friends
was like
got
Robin Hood. She felt like, even though she was stealing from a small school district.
Yeah, I think she did feel that way.
Well, think about this in terms of quantity, because Chad from South Bend just checked in on the text line and said that if this was over a 20-month period and she accumulated 4.4 million wings, which is what we think she did, in order to run through all of that, she would have to consume 7,300 wings a day.
Wow.
Wow, even Brian thinks that's a lot.
I usually get full around 7. It's an extra 300, you know.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.